I just want justice for my pack. But I'm lacking in the knowledge to do so. The High Vessel may know and may have been keeping it from me, or has had access to all the information all along. How am I meant to give someone the benefit of the doubt when everything I know goes against it? I want to confront her, but if I go about it aggressively or forcefully, that's terrifying. I want answers, and if I want to do it sneakily, that probably means I have to sneak into the castle, but if I get caught snooping, what's going to stop them from putting me down? If I die prior to getting any answers, then I would have been no help to the pack, and what would the point have been? What am I meant to do? I don't have the bravery to check the castle. Well, I had the bravery to confront the villagers. Will there be anything in the public library? Kinda doubt it. Why would there be anything having to do with... Why would there be anything to do with orders to wipe out Noya? It just seems like a lot of books that were actually from the Full Moon Festival. I don't think there's anything. Maybe I do take the risk. Maybe I do go up there. But I don't know who all could be up in the castle, and any Shrieklings that are up there can see me rather easily, so there's a lot of risk in doing so. Maybe let's relook over the information that I do know. So when let's see, draft was put into place and had a stipulation about the guild and their allies, including Noya, not surviving. Previous High Vessel grew impatient, and urged soldiers to act quicker, which she did this despite the war going so poorly. According to the journal, by the time the war ended, most of the targets, as he called them, were taken care of. Those remaining would be returning to their packland together, which I know was in reference to my family returning to the Noya packlands. So of all the targets, he took care of most of them during the war, and he finished up the rest of us in the Noya raid. And the Noya raid was after the war ended. In her letter, it said she didn't want the former guild to regroup and its allies to regroup. But regroup for what? What threat were they? They were adventurers. They liked questing. They liked to go on adventure. I heard all sorts of stories from the former guild, and my mom told me stories about them, and River told me stories, and former adventurers I ran into during my time in service told me, and it was positive. They had a genuine enjoyment for adventuring and the camaraderie that came from it. There was very little dealings with the overworld crown. The guild was even farther out than my packlands are. They were nowhere near the castle to be thrown into their politics and whatever else that might be seen as threatening. I know that there were people of different origins, of different kingdoms, who were also part of the guild. So was that what was threatening? That they had relations to foreign kingdoms? But it wasn't like the bonds were being used negatively. It's just a safe haven. It was a place for people to come to let off steam, to enjoy adventuring, or to seek protection. Does it have to do that the guild had goblin members? But that wasn't widely known information. It wasn't even really known information. I'm sure it was more well known ages ago, but once the war started happening, it was pretty much scrubbed. River gave me the former index, and the origins for some of the members are left blank, and I know why. There's no written record of us having goblin members. It was just if you knew, you knew. And it's not like the goblins were doing anything bad. They were just adventuring like everybody else. The guild may have had a lot of combat-oriented people, but it was combat for questing and for the enjoyment of slaying monsters. It wasn't combat training to be a threat to anybody. How does Noya get so strongly tied into it? Referred to as allies of the guild, I can't say that's wrong. We had a lot of former adventurers settle down in the packlands, and we had a lot of people grow up who wanted to be adventurers, me included. It wasn't because we were trying to join a cause. It wasn't anything like that. It was just the thrill of enjoying life. We were allies because we could help each other the same way that I run this guild. I can trade materials. I can have people collect materials for me and trade them with other people. It's hell. My pack wasn't combat-oriented, but we had a lot of artisans. And if we couldn't get the materials ourselves, then we could trade with the guild in the past. Maybe there's just information I don't know about the former guild, but how am I supposed to get that information if I can't go to the former guild? It's outside the border now. I don't know where it was. I don't really know where it was in general. I just knew it was farther east than the Packlands. The only type of information I think that I could have is stuff that is remnants of the previous High Vessel's rule, documents, records, journals, something like that to know what happened. And if I'm too scared to go to the castle myself, then maybe my only choice left is to confront the High Vessel. To catch her off guard, to talk to her. I don't want to miss it in advance, so maybe I wait her out. Maybe I go to the Waystone and wait. Maybe I'll run into her there and get the answers I'm looking for. Maybe that is what I have to do. I wonder if the High Vessel's gonna come through the Waystone anytime soon. I just want to catch and speak to her without her being able to prepare her answers. To prepare an answer that she thinks I will accept, even if it's not the truth. I just want to know what happened. I want to confirm that she knows what happened and what type of person she and all Shrieklings really are. Oh.
Hi, Phoebe.
Hi. Hello.
You okay?
Did you know?
Did I know? Did I know what?
Wolfkin man.
About the Packlands.
Not
Did you
they
know that
took
Shrieklings
me.
are the ones that did it?
That did what, Fifi?
How do you expect me to believe that you didn't know?
Skeletons, how dare they look like themselves? What happened? You know to me for a long time. Everything is crumbling. Straight up monsters. This world. I swear I had no idea, Fiori. I know that my mother was something to be desired, but I had no idea.
How am I meant to believe that when you kept her court as your own as well? You kept Pyra even if she wasn't captain. There's no way she wouldn't have known as a knight captain.
There was a lot of things that were kept from me, including Pyra's familial history.
But she had behaviors in front of your face as well.
She did, and I agree that they weren't appropriate, but if I would have known anything to this degree, I would have immediately put a stop to it.
But you would have been her heir. You have access to all the records.
I didn't. I was kept in the ancient city until just barely before my coronation.
You have access to the records now, though.
Most of our records are gone. They've been wiped clean. Do you want to see this, Ollie? Are you okay with Ollie looking?
Yeah.
I don't disagree that Shrieklings are problematic. Pyra's family included, my family included. You could trace Shriekling lineage back millions of years. Well, not millions of years, but to our creation, and it has been problematic since day one. And I take responsibility for that, but I promise that I did not know.
Don't let me know
About-
why. What did we do?
I don't know a lot of the motive or what my mother and the previous court was doing. I know that that is a big part of why I've been so insistent on changing things, though. And I know that that's was always going to be a multifaceted task. I swear if I would have had any idea that this is how it happened, Fiori, I would have told you.
Are you sure that you would have told me? That's
Yeah.
definitely not something that people would want to share.
If I had any information on what happened to your pack lands and how dedicated you are to them, I would have told you. I would never come between you and your people. Not like this.
And if you do find something saying why,
I promise, if I find anything, you will hear about it before anybody else. I can't reach out to Pyra now, and things with Zeroth are shaky, but I can potentially ask.
why would he know?
He was on my mother's court. He was probably about 5 years on my mom's court before he was ever on mine.
But he only just came advisor cycles ago.
He was my mother's advisor as well. It was one of the things that my mom put in her last will and testament, that he was to act as my advisor just like he acted as hers. I renewed the contract. I don't necessarily know what he's looked like with her, but if it was anything like mine, he would have information.
Why would you renew the contract with him? If you want to bring change, there's no way he didn't approve of her actions.
If I would have known that anything was going to be like it was today, I never would. But at the time, I didn't have community. I only had Zeroth and Pyra to go off of. And unfortunately, I can't reach out to Pyra.
But you knew of the draft.
Only
Would her
vaguely.
own court not have approved of the draft or encouraged it?
My mother would have been the one that held the information on that. I didn't approve of it myself, but
You kept people
def-
around that did.
you're right. And that's a mistake that I will have to live with for the rest of my life. But we're now putting things in place to get rid of those that were on the wrong side of history.
How is there a wrong side to history?
Well,
Everyone's
in
just a
my
person.
opinion, when somebody puts something like the draft in place, like my mom, that's actively choosing to do something that is harmful. And when somebody encourages it, like Roth or the Duarte family, or even myself, if I had known, evildoers are evil, but those who see evil being done and choose nothing to stop it are also on the wrong side. And part of me being ruler, I have chosen to step away from things like that, to change when I see things like that happening, to do better so that wolfkins and flower spirits have peace going forward. A big part of me knowing how to do that is finding out why it happened in the first place, and unfortunately this will be another thing that I need to figure out, but I'm willing to do that.
I think I need to leave.
I understand. If there is anything, maybe not even myself, but that Ollie can help with, please reach out. Don't go through this alone, okay?
But I am alone. There's no one else left. I am alone. I wanted to be angry. I wanted confrontational, but I'm scared. How am I gonna help anybody? I'm scared. No, I can't bring my pack back. What type of answers am I meant to get? How am I supposed to get answers? If she knows something, I'm gonna push for her harder because it's scary. I want my mom. I want you back. To do to be good. How do I be good? So, Zaroth. I think that's Balefire. He. I would have aided the High Vessel Darcy with the draft. At the very least, approved with it, been complacent with it, same as Pyra. And yet he still kept around, kept close. If Pyra's gone, and the High Vessel didn't know anything about what happened, then That leaves the last person. Not the last person, but that makes him the most likely culprit, the most likely person to take responsibility for what happened. It's him. The other Shrieklings can follow after. But if Lenora does what she says and gets information from her, from him, then that means she's trying to help. She's not being complacent, so maybe they're not all like that, but she did know. He does know orders. He does. The orders. He carries responsibilities. He carries some of the responsibility. My pack's slaughter. Even if it's just complacency. The order. What then? What then? Is she going to protect her fellow Shriekling? Protect her court? What is she going to do? What am I meant to do? Even if he declines knowing, if he was on the previous High Vessel's court, even if he's not guilty or had a direct hand in it, he's complacent in it. Even if he's not complacent in my pack slaughter, he's complacent in the draft and not helping put an end to it. I thought that after Pirate died, that was it. That was all the court members from the previous reign. I know what I would like to see happen with Zara. There's already many plans in motion. I promised my dead that as their Zara, I would find them answers and ensure the guilty don't just get away with it. I promised my dad that as their czar, I would find them answers and ensure the guilty don't just get away with it. Promised. I promised. I want to go to the catacombs. I want to visit. I want closure. To be young. The ones who fought so hard to survive and to protect the pack, just for it to amount to just me. And only me. I promised in my speech that I'll put an arrow in the throat of our enemies. And right now I'm thinking that's Shrieklings as a whole. It's every Shriekling, it's complacent. Every Shriekling is a monster. I don't know how I feel if she's willing to turn on her own kind. It's that she's saying it's to make change for fairness, to correct the wronged side. Does that make her not an enemy? Does that make her trustworthy if she'll turn on her own comrades? Then he will not just get away with it. It's my personal mission to hold it accountable for Shriekling history. As their creator, I am more than happy to see that he answers for your pack history also. Shrieking's creator. He's the creator of Shrieklings, and it's all his fault. We wouldn't have been drafted, we wouldn't have been slaughtered if Shrieklings just didn't exist. I want him dead. It's his fault. That's not just complacency, that's it being the means in which it happened. He's the monster.